Yep, we're ready. If you want to let us know when we're live.
Are you live and recording?
We're going to open the meeting at 7:30. Shelter on Town Hall and Zoom video conference. Roll call, William Johnson.
Here.
Phil Diorio is absent, excused. Lynn Colligan. Here. Tom Graffinino.
Here.
Lisa Freckler here, and Stephen Kiley, Town Attorney,
Here.
here also. We're going to start by reviewing and approve the August 17th, 2022 minutes. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
So moved.
Tom Graffinino second, and we'll bring it up for a vote.
William Johnson, yes.
Thomas Graffinino, yes.
Lynn Colligan, yes.
Lisa Freckler, yes, as well. Minutes are approved. We have two resolutions for tonight. The first one is 9B Peconic. Lynn, can you go ahead and read the resolution?
Sure. This is an abbreviated version and the full copy can be found on file at the town clerk's office. It's an application by Martin and Julianne Carpe for a variance and special permit at 9B Peconic Avenue, Shelter Island Heights, New York. 0700-17-1-15 and 16. The applicant requested 2 area variances and a special permit in connection with a proposed renovation and expansion of the existing dwelling to include a covered porch and second floor. Due to the existing footprint of the subject dwelling, relief is requested from section 133-6B5A to permit the construction of a proposed porch 34.1 feet from the front property line where 40 feet is required, variance of 5.9 feet. And a second story addition located 36.4 feet from the front property line where 40 feet is required, variance of 3.6 feet. Additionally, a special permit is required for the consequential bulk intrusion created by the proposed second story addition. So the resolution of the board applying the balancing test under New York State Town Law 267B and applying the facts to the standards enumerated in section 133-35 of the town code, a motion was offered by
Thomas Graffinino.
Second it, William Johnson.
and duly carried to approve the request for 2 area variances for front yard setback relief of the 5.9 and 3.6 feet respectively for the proposed porch and second story addition, as well as a special permit for the second story bulk intrusion as reflected in F. Michael Hemmer site plan dated April 19th, 2022, and the architectural plans by Victor Cuneo Architect, PC dated October 27th, 2021. We need a vote from the board.
We'll bring it up for a vote. William Johnson,
Yes.
Tom Graffinino,
Thomas Graffinino votes yes.
Lynn Colligan.
Yes.
And Lisa Kreckler votes yes as well. And Phil is not present.
Okay, this resolution was duly adopted today.
And then next is,
Can you make a motion to close that?
do we need to on resolution?
No.
Okay.
Okay. The next resolution is 2 Prospect Avenue. Lynn will again read the resolution for us.
This is an application by the Shelter Island Fire District for a variance and special permit at 2 Prospect Avenue, Shelter Island Heights, New York, 0700-5-17-1. The applicant requests 2 area variances and a special permit in connection with the proposed renovation and expansion of the firehouse to include a second floor. Due to the pre-existing non-conforming nature of the subject property consisting of 2 front yards, relief is requested from section 133-8B5A to permit the construction of the subject additions 10.7 feet from the Prospect Avenue front property line where 30 feet is required, a variance of 19.3 feet, and 4.8 feet from the alley front property line where 30 feet is required, a variance of 25.2 feet. Additionally, a special permit is required for the expansion of the pre-existing nonconformity and consequential bulk intrusion created by the proposed second story addition. There was no opposition to this application, and
Yeah. This one?
Yeah. In considering the above factors and applying the balancing test under New York State Town Law 267B, as well as applying the facts to the standards enumerated in section 133-35 of the town code, a motion was offered by
Can I get a motion?
William Johnson III.
A second?
I will second.
and duly carried to approve the request for 2 area variances for the setbacks already mentioned, as well as a special permit for the same as reflected in the Sherman Engineering and Consulting site plan dated December 10th, 2021. There are 2 conditions, so this application is subject to the following conditions. Number 1, vehicular traffic in connection with the construction shall not block Prospect Avenue at any time, and any damaged property owned by the Shelter Island Heights Property Owners Corporation in connection with the subject construction shall be repaired at the minimum consistent with current construction standards. And 2, all material and equipment used in connection with the subject construction shall be stored on site and not stored on any Shelter Island Heights Property Owners Corporation property.
We'll bring the resolution to a vote. William Johnston,
Yes.
Tom Graffinino,
Thomas Graffino, yes.
Lynn Colligan.
Yes,
Lisa Crackler, yes as well.
and this resolution was duly adopted today.
So tonight we have 2 hearings. We're going to start with 69 Cobbitts Lane. Coco, can you please read the notice?
Notice is hereby given that the following hearing will be held by the Shelter Island Zoning Board of Appeals on the 24th day of August, 2022 at the Shelter Island Town Hall, 39 North Ferry Road, Shelter Island, New York, and or via Zoom video conference. Applications are scheduled to begin at 7:30 p.m. or soon after. In regards to a hearing on the application of Raymond Renault, RA, on behalf of Nick Vitkatis and Vera Chaplin, owners of 69 Cobbitts Lane, Shelter Island, New York, which is in Zone AA residential and is more specifically described on the Suffolk County Tax Map as 700-3-2-48.11. The applicant is seeking a variance from Shelter Island Town Code 133-7B, 5B1 to construct walkout box bay window, which would hold a 28.3-foot side yard setback where 30 is required. All persons wishing to be heard should appear at the informative time and place or join virtual hearing Zoom meeting. Details are posted on the website. In order of Bill Diorio, Chairman.
Thank you, Coco. And we also received some written correspondence. Coco, can you read those into the record, please?
Correct. The first correspondence is from David Harms, 55 Cobbitts Lane, Shelter Island, New York, dated May 23rd, 2022. To whom it may concern, David Harms would like to express my full support of Nick Vicarious and Vera Chaplin's variance application. Sincerely, David Harms, signed. The second letter is from James Marshall, P.O. Box 4947, Shelter Island, New York, dated May 23rd, 2022. To whom it may concern, I, James Marshall, would like to express my full support of Nick Vicarious and Vera Chaplin's variance application. Sincerely, James Marshall. And the third correspondence is from Keith McDougall, 3 Sheep Pasture Lane, Shelter Island, New York, dated May 23rd, 2022. To whom it may concern, I, Keith McDougall, would like to express my full support of Nick Vicarious and Vera Chaplin's variance application. Sincerely, Keith McDougall, signed.
Thank you, Coco. And do we have anyone here to present? I'm assuming you. Can you please state your name for the record?
Raymond Renault, architect,
Thank you.
for the owners, Nick Vitakis and Vera Chaplin. So we started this project with a very old survey that did not necessarily show all the information that we wanted. And we got an approval from the building department. We drew a site plan based on the information we had. Nick went on to get a new survey, presented the new survey to me, and I said, we have a problem because we drew the house on our site plan, which we submitted to the building department, closer or actually further from the property line than what was shown on the survey. So there was a discrepancy. We discovered that discrepancy required us to be here today to get a variance. There's a small walkout bay that extends from the existing side of the house and aligns with the side of the existing chimney. The chimney already projects into that setback. And if you look at the property, there's a lot of topography that prevents the house from being any other location. The flattest part of the property is really where it's located. What we were trying to do for the client was to basically create a little bit of a box bay on the inside as a cantilevered floor system. And that would allow him, to get a little more breathing room. The room is very long and narrow, so it kind of helps to break up that space. And it was all approved as part of our permit application originally because our site plan was showing it complying. And then when we got the survey, we discovered that there was an issue with the setback. That's why we're here today.
What's the square footage of the section that's bumping out?
I think I have that on me.
I think it's in the letter of denial.
No.
Would project into the required setback by 1 foot, 8 inches.
Yes,
Yeah,
1.8 feet.
yeah.
That's just the distance it's going in and had numbers on.
Yeah, it's an actual addition of 2 foot by about 7 feet. So it's about 14 square feet.
Okay, thank you. And are you looking to put, I see on the plans, you're looking to put a window seat in there, or is it just?
It's a window seat. You can't actually, it could actually stand there, but it's going to be a window seat. He has a nice view out of that window. So essentially that's what he's looking to do. And there's an adjacent bookcase that goes next to it, just to break up the room and have, some storage.
Does anyone on the board have any questions?
So I guess cornices, eaves, gutters, and chimneys can project, but not
Correct.
any windows.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And we thought we were okay when we submitted our application, and our application to the building department was okay until we got the updated survey. Then we discovered that there was an issue. So it's a 1.8 foot variance that we're asking for. And seems to fit the character of the neighborhood. It's not going to affect anything. The line of the existing chimney is already there. It's not like we're projecting past that.
I have a quick question. The survey
Yes.
is submitted, is 2-story frame house under construction.
That was a survey that was done during construction.
Okay, 'cause I would love for the area in question to be called out. Seemed to be on the survey.
We have it indicated
I saw on the site plan.
on our site plan. I believe. Yeah, it doesn't actually call it out as a bump out. It just looks like part of the building envelope.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you could have the surveyor just shade that area.
Sure.
Or something and pull it out as, so this is existing now, right? It's already got
Yes.
building front, okay.
I have a photograph if you'd like to see.
All right, no, it's no issue. It's existing. I think it's fine.
But it is only 1 story. It's not 2 stories. You can probably call it out with a dash line and say 1 story.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
You just amend that, just so the file is clear for future purposes.
Sure.
Have any other questions on that?
I do not.
I know.
Okay.
Is there anyone from the audience that? Anyone on Zoom land? Who would like to comment?
He obviously has some letters of support from his neighbors, so
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Okay, so just get that survey over to us and
Okay, great.
Yeah.
thank you.
So when do we find out if it's approved or?
So we're gonna, our next work session is September 21st. So we'll have a work session then, and then
We'll vote on
vote on it at the next meeting, September 28th.
Okay, great.
So just make sure to get the survey in probably by the,
First.
yeah, probably by the 14th would be great,
Okay,
September 14th.
we'll do that. Thank you so much.
Okay, so thank you.
Thank you.
So can I get a motion from the board to close this application except for written correspondence?
I'll make the motion.
And second? I'll second. Wayne Colligan, second.
A deadline for the correspondence. would be-
September 14th for written correspondence. And the next application on our agenda is 8 East Brander Parkway. Coco, can you please read the notice?
Notice is here, do I read that part in the beginning? Notice is hereby given that the following hearing will be held at the Shelter Island Zoning Board of Appeals on the 24th day of August, 2022 at the Shelter Island Town Hall, 39 North Berry Road, Shelter Island, New York, and via Zoom. Applications are scheduled to begin at 7:30 p.m. or sooner. A hearing on the application of Maxine Lau, RA, on behalf of Michelle D'Arcombo, owner of 8 East Brander Parkway, Shelter Island, New York, a corner lot, which is in Zone A residential, near Shore Overlay District, and is more specifically described on the Suffolk County tax map as 700-22-1-141. The applicant is seeking variances from Shelter Island Town Code number 133-6B5A, hold 29.5 feet front yard setback off of Beach Road, where 40 feet is required, and additionally to hold 19.7 feet front yard setback off the East Brander Parkway, where 40 feet is required.
And Coco, we also received some written correspondence.
Correct. We received an email from Kate Gardner dated Wednesday, July 27th. Dear Mr. Diorio and other members of the Zoning Board of Appeals, my husband and I received a letter from the Zoning Board of Appeals this week regarding a request for a variance from our neighbor at 8 Brander Parkway /2 North Silver Beach Road. The request is for a significant relief of the 2 front yard setbacks in order to erect a deck. We firmly oppose to granting this variance. For one, the property at 8 Brander Parkway /2 North Silver Beach Road is already non-conforming. Adding the requested structure will make a non-conforming property even more non-conforming, which in my years reading and hearing proposals to the zoning board is a highly objectionable request. Properties should be moving towards becoming aligned with current day zoning requirements, not varying even further from them. Our second objection regards the fact that this proposed structure will obstruct our water view. We love our water view in West Neck Bay. We currently enjoy while sitting on our front porch. This proposed deck threatens the peaceful view we treasure. We never imagined it would be threatened by an acceptance of a variance. The quaintness of Silver Beach is what drew us to the area. We have conformed to every zoning rule set for the improvements we have made to our property, trusting that the setbacks were established to protect the interests of the homeowners and the beauty of our town. Mrs. D'Armals is adducious request. We hope the zoning board will not approve this variance. Our jobs necessitate that we be away the week of the hearing, but we do intend to be present via Zoom. Please let us know if there's anything more we can do to convince the board of our reasoning for denying this variance. Kindest regards, Kate and Joshua Gardner, 4 North Silver Beach Road. We also received another email from Kate Gardner dated July 27th. Dear Mr. Diorio, as a follow-up to my previous email, I'd like to show you the aforementioned view that will be impacted by this proposed variance. Photo is enclosed. This proposed structure will not only negatively impact the joy of our view, but also the value of our home. We implore you and the board to deny this proposal. Thank you, Kate and Josh Gardner.
Thank you, Coco. And who's here to present? Please state your name for the record.
My name is Gregory Nissen. I'm here for Michelle Campbell. She's away on a business trip, and I offered to come to the meeting just to be present for her, and our architect is here also. Known Shelley for 15 years, got to know her at Camp Quinnipiac when her daughter was involved. Her house has been a gathering place for a long time for a lot of people. We're looking to connect. It's an oddly situated home on a corner lot. It's an old Sears Roebuck house. As it's situated, it has 3 front doors. The actual front door faces the neighbor's property. The screen porch faces north
Silver Beach Road.
North Silver Beach, and then North Monantic is the other side. We have a deck that's in disrepair. We have an ugly Bilco on that side. We'd love to conceal them all on a deck and clean it up. We've talked to some direct neighbors. We hear the neighbor that's called in. We've assured them that the deck is in no way going to block anyone's view. It's actually on the gable end of the house. I don't know if any neighbor's view would be affected by it. I'll let Maxine talk about the actual deck for a minute. Is that okay?
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Maxine Leo, and because I'm masked, I'm going to take off my mask for a minute. You can see who I am. But out of a lot of caution, I'm just wearing a mask. Okay. So I'm the architect for Michelle Darkenbaugh. And I'd like to address some of the issues that the letter referred to from the neighbor, and also clarify something about the project. So I have a handout, and I don't know if you saw this, it's the same site plan that you originally have with the application, but I don't know if you've seen this version of it, so I'm going to just bring it up.
Is it the additional submission or?
Yes, okay, so you have this. I'm not sure if everybody has it. I guess it depends on when you pick up the paperwork. But what I did was I showed the difference by using 2 colors of the area of the porch. Oh, okay, of the area of the porch that's existing. If anybody in the audience would like to see this. It shows the difference between the area of the deck, the proposed deck that's existing, and the area that's one of the existing and one that's proposed. Anybody else? Yeah.
There's no date on this.
So approximately 20% of the proposed deck along East Brander Parkway is existing, and the basement entry is included in that, which is to be covered over with deck. So 20% of that is existing. And also it's,
I'm sorry, can you just repeat that? I was looking at something else. Could you just say that again about the 20%?
oh, yeah, so it's 20% of what is now proposed as a new deck is already existing. It's, part of it is in the accessory structure setback, which is permitted. It's within 20 feet of the side yard setback, and that's permitted. That's in the blue area on the drawing. And then the part that's in the blue area on the East Brander side, it's an already existing deck that's in shabby shape. And so that's going to be rebuilt as part of the deck. So as we described, and as Greg mentioned, and I described this in the variance application, the house predates the current zoning code when it was built. It was built in the 20s. And when they built it, they located it so that most of the open yard is alongside the two streets. And because it's corner, that makes a big open area. So now, because the zoning changed, that area is subject to the current front yard setbacks. We're aware of objections being raised by neighbors that the house is already non-conforming. But that's precisely why we're asking for variance. We feel that there's a hardship created by the fact that the current zoning was put in place long after the house was built. And regarding the objection raised by a neighbor as to the setting of precedent if the proposed deck is approved, this is a unique property, and we feel it's unlikely that there would be other houses on the island with a similar kind of hardship. One reason that the deck extension is proposed to be mainly along the East Brander side of the house, the side that's where the large open space is that it has the amenity of a water view and it's a sunny area. The proposed deck is sited in a way that it will not interfere with any of the other neighbors' use of the water. And we're aware that a couple with an adjacent property on North Silver Beach Road, one who wrote the letter that was read, based their letter on an incorrect assumption about the location of the proposed deck. In response, the property owner, Michelle, sent them a site plan and explained the actual situation, but the proposed deck will not be in their view. I have another handout illustrating the direction of their view and in relation to the site plan that I'd like to give you, if that's okay. And I have, you heard the letter, so you don't need, then I have a copy of the letter that Michelle wrote to the neighbors explaining the situation. So this handout shows that the neighbors is on this side and the deck is on the other side. You know, my feeling about it is that it could help in the future if neighbors actually get site plans, so they can see that kind of thing. But there's an arrow showing the direction. The neighbor is on this side, and then okay, so this is the letter. Okay, so there we go. And this, and so the neighbor who is complaining is on this side of the property. The deck is on the opposite.
And also need
Okay.
2 copies there, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Two.
A copy of each.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yes, that's okay. Record.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I have a couple of copies left. If someone wants to see it. So the neighbor. Oh, okay, good. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so the neighbor, it's on the side of that. And the letter, you want to see the letter? Sure. Okay. Okay, good. So, okay, so, the deck that we proposed, a little more about the project. The deck that we proposed is proposed to be adjacent to the house's existing screen porch, kitchen, and side entry, and on the same floor level. So going from the house to the deck will not require steps. And as Greg pointed out, it connects the 3 doors to the house, which would be a big convenience for the owner. It will replace the old deck and steps, which I mentioned earlier, and the proposed deck will be it'll continue the traditional style of local houses, and we feel it will look entirely appropriate to the neighborhood. So we appreciate your consideration of this variance request, and if there's any comments, I'll be happy to address them.
Do you know what the square footage is of the proposed deck that includes the
You know-
existing that is being replaced?
You know, I'm sorry, I don't actually have that area.
Okay, that would be great for us to have.
Okay, well, I can.
Okay.
So essentially, it's the area of proposed and the area that's existing.
Yeah, that total area. And I just was curious, because it on the plan, it seems rather large. Was there a rationale for having the deck extend out so far?
Is there a rationale for it?
Yeah.
It's just what seemed, what the owner felt would be comfortable for her, you know. If you sit in a lounge chair, you know, someone has to walk around you, that kind of thing.
And the current deck right now extends how far out from the house?
It's about 7 feet,
7 feet?
the one on the east ground side.
Is with that square footage of the new deck, the square, you mentioned the existing deck being 20% of the overall project.
Right, there is,
Square footage of that deck as well.
so,
So,
yeah, the total rate part,
Yes,
yeah, so that's what you would like to know.
right,
and I was going, so that there'd be a good, the shaded piece helps, but having the footage total area would be.
Okay, well, I can calculate that, and then what is the best way to let everybody know? I can send it as a PDF to Christina,
Yes.
a letter to the board and.
Yep.
And Christina. can-
Correct. Yes.
Okay, sure, I can do that tomorrow.
I also have another question, more of a clarification item, because I have a proposed set of plans from March 17th, 2022, and then I have this new one from August 8th that you just provided us.
No, it's the same site plan, I just plugged it in.
The steps, looking at it visually, the steps on the new one you submitted go past the enclosed porch, and the other one line up with the screen porch.
Oh,
So there's a discrepancy there.
yep,
oh,
definitely.
okay, let me hold this. So can I see what you're looking at?
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, maybe,
So these steps line up.
Oh,
with
I
the
see.
screen porch,
Oh,
and
I
these
see.
ones extend beyond.
oh, I
the
see, it's the
screen
way that the surveyor drew it, they drew it wrong.
porch. Which one is?
First one is.
Which one is wrong?
Okay.
More of that.
Okay, yeah, the surveyor is wrong.
So which one are we going?
Okay,
to
so,
be-
so go with my site plan and I'll have the surveyor revise the survey.
So we're definitely gonna need a revised survey. So let's put that
Okay.
on the list.
Okay.
And would the owner, the applicant be amenable to reducing the size of the deck, given the significance of the variance?
Well, I think that's something we would definitely consider.
I mean, part of that too, I was again looking at your first proposed, the one that the surveyed one. And I thought, oh, it does, it lines up nicely with the screen porch. But, and this one goes beyond it.
Right.
So would that be something you'd be willing to consider to bring it back to align with the screen porch?
You know, that's something I could discuss with the owner when she's back from her trip.
Okay.
What happens is that one of the proposals is to have a sliding door on that side of the screen porch.
Right.
And so I feel like it's safer if the steps go beyond that area so that there's a little extra room when you walk out the door. So you're not right at the steps. So that was
Right,
kind of
and
how
but I
I
mean,
decided.
looking at it, you're gonna have you're proposing 3 access points to this one deck, so you might, I mean, it might be nice to have access through the screen porch, but you can access the deck in 2 other locations, so
Right.
it's just something to consider.
And would that sliding door make that front existing steps disappear? The front existing steps and that front entryway, with that, adding that sliding door, with those steps kicked out past the porch, if you're proposing that a sliding door would go there, would that entryway and steps be removed from that front? Take a look.
Steps be removed
In other words,
from.
I'm gathering this is where the entry is right here, right?
Oh, no,
now,
no,
correct?
no, that's
That-
entirely existing and not touching that at all.
Okay, so that's an entryway here though.
Yeah, it is.
So then you-
To the yard,
So the reason these came out was for another entryway here, correct?
yes,
Okay.
right, yeah, the entryway from the screen porch, it faces East Brander Parkway. So that was all, and even if the sliding part of it is in the middle, what happens is if we move the steps in, it's just a little close to that.
Correct, but another option would be, again, since you have two access points already, either
Right.
do a single door entry or you
Right.
could eliminate that door entirely because you already have access to the house from that side of the street.
Right, okay, well, it's something that we'll actually think about and, see how that works for them.
Okay. Any other board members have any questions for the applicant?
No.
Lynn? No. Stephen, do you have anything?
No, just one point. If you're gonna go with the larger deck, you're gonna have to amend the survey to include different lot coverages potentially.
If we go with the larger deck, we have to amend the service.
The survey, because it calculates
Right.
lot coverage. So you may have to have the surveyor amend that as well.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, sure, I'll point that out. Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, people are lining up. Step up and state your name for the record, please.
Hi, good evening, board, Counselor. My name is Rob Bethke. I live on the corner of North and East Brander Parkway. It's the house I was born into. My grandparents bought the property in the 1930s. So I've been in that neighborhood for a while. I've kind of taken on the opportunity to volunteer to speak for some of my other neighbors, the Gardner's not included, although they would have you welcome on here. I come with a proxy of 18 Silver Beach members, including the 10 property owners that are the 360 degrees within 200 feet of the subject property, all to express our extreme opposition and aversion to this variance. The Gardner's letter cover a lot of it, but I'll go through very specifically, and I'll provide the letter, so I'll try and do this a little quicker for you. First of all, it's a variance looking to throw away 60 years of established town building code. It is an inappropriate extension into a necessary setback in that neighborhood. I know some of the other neighbors here will kind of talk about how that's going to affect them. And we really, all of us, the 18 who signed on my letter, feel that this is an intrusion and will cause a deformity in the Silver Beach neighborhood. As was pointed out, this is a lovely home. It's a historic home built in the 1920s. It was one of the 6 original homes on Silver Beach, of which 3 are left. And I think what's important and hasn't been mentioned yet is the property's front yard is sited facing a public town landing on West Neck Harbor and North Silver Beach Road. So the proposed deck is advancing directly towards the town landing. That is one property owner that I did not include in this list. And it is an enlargement of an outdoor entertainment area. By constructing approximately, my math, so it's loose, but about a 600 square foot deck, almost entirely in the required setback, such that it would be less than 20 feet from East Brander and less than 30 feet from North Silver Beach Road. In both cases where a 40-foot setback is required by town code. We don't feel that this is causing an unnecessary hardship on the applicant. In fact, in the documents provided to the ZBA, they stated that they simply would like to enhance my water view. This is not a hardship, and the setbacks are not unique or disproportionately impactful on this particular property than it is on any other property in the Silver Beach neighborhood where an owner might wish to enhance their water view. As already been said, the deck is originally constructed in 2001, I believe, is non-conforming to town code with as little as a 31 foot setback, where a 40-foot setback is required. And my understanding is that while the ZBA can offer relief from current zoning laws, it cannot create a new condition such as the expansion of a non-conforming use. While not relevant to the zoning specifically, I think it is important for the ZBA to understand that this property operates as a commercial vacation rental. There are numerous, it's under registered with the town, subject to section 10530, and operates as licensed as a limited commercial vacation rental. It is actively marketed for short-term rentals of 2 to 14 days on sites like VRBO and Airbnb. The links to those will be in the letter. And the South Rhode Island Town Police has received multiple noise complaints, and the town has also received code violation notices for its acting as a vacation rental. As neighbors of the adjoining property, we contest the responses that the applicant provided to the ZBA with respect to the impact on the neighborhood. We feel that granting this variance does produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood by creating a large entertaining area directly on the front of East Brander. It has an adverse effect on the physical condition in the neighborhood, including intruding on residents' visibility and sight distances down the street and around the corner, especially on East Brander. And by having a large entertaining area so close to the street in the setback area, it will detract from the residential nature and the unassuming character of Silver Beach. So granting this variance is to substantially expand the size of this existing front yard deck even further into the setback area. We feel will likely only exacerbate a present nuisance with this property and be detrimental to nearby properties and the surrounding property values. This property is considered a nuisance property in the neighborhood. So really, we just want you to fully affirm the decision by the building department to deny the application. The variance being sought would appear to be illegal, inappropriate, and unwelcome in the neighborhood. Counter-established building code creates a large inappropriate living area outside and is widely unwelcome by the neighbors. I'm being really quick because I know there's people there. I have 2 copies of the letter. I can email the letter to all of you. But like I said, it's signed by 10 members of the 10 property owners, not the gardeners who I couldn't find because they were out of town, but everybody else has uniformly signed on. And this was as soon as the town hearing signs were posted on the property, Silver Beach became very animated because this was a hot topic over the past couple of weeks.
Okay.
So thank you very much. I'll leave the letter for.
On the board have any questions before?
No.
No.
Or, okay, thank you.
I
And
can list that are there or with Coco, whichever you prefer.
you leave it with Coco, that'd be great.
Yes, please.
And I want to give the applicant a chance to respond if they so wish.
Yes, everybody said Silver Beach was polarized and full of energy, and I'm realizing that how true it is. Calling this a nuisance property. Okay. There's been one rental at this house in June. There's been one rental in June. Shelley opens her house up to all of us. She has a large community of friends. I know of one police report. Her law firm had a party 2 weeks ago after the variance went up and somebody called the police on a sound violation at 10:30 at night. That is the only police violation the last 10 years. We did a FOIA request because we wondered what they were talking about. So I have to respond to that. The Silver Beach community is full of rental homes. There are many properties, many second homes that are rented purely on Airbnb. This is one that has a rental permit. Honestly, I don't think it's the ZBA's job to talk about rental properties in general. It's a legal rental property. The police have never been called on a rental situation at the home. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else on the floor who would like to step up to the podium? State your name for the record, please.
Bernard B. Mullahan, 60 Friend Parkway. All right, to start off, I don't want to complicate things, it's complicated enough, but my view will be completely blocked by this construction. My house is right next door to that. So that view will completely block all my south view. Yeah. As far as the police reports, I'm a little surprised what has been just stated about one police report. Because there's been at least 3 times the police have shown up there on different occasions. One occasion was a dog was left on the front porch. The renters left. The dog was going crazy. A patrol.
I can appreciate all, the the backstory of the police coming. That's not really what we're here to do tonight.
No,
ZBA is literally, we are here to look at the variance being
Okay,
presented,
I'm
and we
just,
want to stick to that.
okay, that's what I'll stick with.
Thank you.
My house is right next door. It has a 40-foot setback as it should. If I look to the right, I look at the porch that was built that is not conforming. This will only expand that view of non-conforming, the way it's designed to go. Okay, so I have never complained before, but there is a lot of parties at the house. So my view is at least 50% infringed on with the building of this.
Thank you.
Anyone else on the floor wish to come up? Please. Oh, you're next. You'll be next. Please go ahead, sir.
Oh, go ahead, I'll work you.
Good evening, my name is Philip Shearer and my wife Alex and I live and have lived for 6 years on a permanent basis on East Brenda Parkway. We used to live on 11, we just moved on 13. And so I cannot really make comments about the specifics of the ZBA because I don't know the footage and everything. I can tell you that we've lived there on a permanent basis and we are very surprised at the dramatic turn that all this has taken. Mrs. Duckenbauer is a very nice neighbor. We don't really know about all these parties because we live just across the street. So I'm not exactly sure what it's all about. And so that's all I wanted to say because, we just want to say that this doesn't bother us that much. What she's proposing to do is very low. And so she could, I don't think it is in the view of everyone else. I think on the town landing, we have every Sunday during the summer, we have the sunfish, races, and this creates a lot of, but, that's living in the neighborhood on the water. So that's all I really wanted to say. To say that I think this is very welcome. She takes very good care of the house, which is a beautiful house, which has been renovated lately, and so we appreciate her neighborhood.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Pardon the slow walk.
That's okay. State your name.
Beth Gee, Rob's my son, 80 plus year living on the corner of North and East Brander Parkway. Silver Beaches has been mentioned as a residential community. Majority of the nearby owners or nearby neighbors oppose this, and many others, as Rob has said, oppose this. The design is a classic design. See his house, there's 3 of them left on Silver Beach. 2 of them have an open porch. There's a closed porch. I don't believe that the deck will enhance the design of the porch at all. I also believe that the setback on this house is the smallest setback of any house on East Brander Parkway. They're trying to enlarge this. To me, it's just my personal preference as a short-term rental. If you go online and look at what they're asking for this house, it's a business. Also, they haven't followed the very simple town requirements for STRs. They've never advised their neighbors as to a contact, a cell phone number. It's never been done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else from the floor here? Please.
Hi there, my name is Patrick Swart. I live, my mother-in-law, Sarah Snyder, resides at 12 East Brander Parkway, so one home over. I've been visiting at 12 East Brander Parkway for, I would say, 30 years now. There's just a couple of things I would like to kind of reinforce and make straight. I think Mr. Bethke did a great job in summarizing what most of the folks in the neighborhood feel. I heard two words that just don't really fit with me very well. Hardship. This is a porch. I don't see it from a legal perspective, that term hardship, how that could be construed that way. I heard the term polarized, and I think probably a better word would be unified. Yeah, unified, not polarized. I think the majority of the people feel the same way. The percentage we were provided was that 20% of the deck already exists. Well, I don't have my rulers out. I'm pretty good at geometry. If I wanted to say, looking at the portion that resides on East Brander, it's maybe about 10 or 15%. We're talking a deck that's 6, 7 times larger and twice as close to the roadway. Now, in terms of reference to being a rental property and whether the police were called, whether when it was being rented or not really the issue for me. I can say this, loudest home I've ever heard or experienced on Silver Beach. Probably more so in the last 5 years or so, sitting out on a weekend on our deck, all I hear is loud music and singing. Doesn't matter to me whether they paid to rent it or whether they're friends. All I know is that if we have a deck that's this much larger, it's gonna help encourage more people to be there and hence more noise. And I just don't see anything this size and this close to the road fits in the neighborhood in any way, shape, or form.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else from the audience here? And now I'm going to open it up to any comments from Zoom land. Coco,
No one has their hand.
gonna need your help with this one.
Pam has her hand. Pam, do.
Okay, yep, go ahead, Pam.
Yes, good evening. This is Pam Demarest. My only comment on this application is strictly that this is a non-conforming structure and it is increasing its non-conformity, and that's really not allowed under the town code. I know there are many non-conforming structures on Shelter Island, and this happens to be one, and extending this deck as proposed will certainly increase its non-conformity.
I just want to make a comment to that. They could seek a special permit. It wasn't called out in the denial letter, but if board does deem it to be an expansion of a pre-existing non-conforming use, it would also have to ask for a special permit.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else in Zoom want to comment?
Someone speaking.
No,
Yes, hi, I'm Melinda Sultan. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, hi, I'm at 18 East Brander Parkway. I was one of the signatories to Bob Bethke's letter. I endorsed what he has written in the letter. And I would just like to say that I really feel that the variances that they're requesting is unreasonable. They already are non-conforming, and they're not asking for a small variance of a couple of feet. They're asking for a variance of many feet at this point. It's unsuitable for the neighborhood. I share in my concerns about what it will do to East Brander Parkway and the side street, as well as how it will impact the neighbors who are immediately surrounding the area. I live a little further down, but I've been a property owner in Shelter Island and Silver Beach for 40 years. And I really think that we have to at some point be respectful also of the fact that you do have neighbors, and that if you're going to ask for a variance, it should be much more reasonable than what they're asking. This is really just absurd what they're asking at this point to expand to this degree, in my opinion, as a neighbor.
Thank you. Anyone else in Zoom? Going once, twice? Okay. Does anyone in the audience, do you care to comment?
Yeah.
Okay. State your name again.
Gregory Nissen.
Thank you.
We do have a good time. There's no doubt. And the other neighbors are invited. We do stay outside. I think the music is a reasonable level. The police, this last time came, it was, they actually said it wasn't too loud. They just said a neighbor complained, could we turn it down? It wasn't an actual violation. It's really just a deck. We can take suggestions. It's 2 feet, 7 inches off the ground. If that's really going to affect people's view.
I mean, looking at it and just hearing the comments, there is some existing part of it, but is there a way for you to come back with us with a smaller portion of it?
They take this back to the drawing board. It's an ugly side of the house. We wanted to do something to conceal a Bilco and connect the screen porch and the other deck. The house is pushed so far back in the lot that it is only front yard. I'm a little surprised about all the comments on the rest of Silver Beach. I forgot how Silver Beach was.
I think taking the comments into account, coming back with an amended version of the deck or something that you're looking to achieve by blocking the Bilco. I think that the board would be interested in something like that. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And so many of the people that commented tonight live in homes that were built with variances. It's tough for me. I've been here too a long time, and the whole nature of Silver Beach has changed. There are huge houses, there are small houses, there are brand new houses, there are vinyl sided houses, there are, this notion of this consistent idyllic community over the last 20 years. Silver Beach is very different from when the Bethkes built their cottage. I've known Mr. Bethke and I traded sunfish when I was at Camp Quinnipiac. Things are different now. And I agree, the nature of Silver Beach has gotten out of control to a different level. This is just a deck. A deck is a deck is a deck. This is not a swimming pool that's going to use more water. This is not a second floor. This is not some crazy thing, or this is not a permanent speaker system or a shell for bands. This is a deck.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to keep this hearing open. And I think we're going to expect some paperwork from your end, maybe a revised plan, and we're going to need that updated, the survey.
The lot coverage, revised plan.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
We're just gonna keep it open.
We're going to keep it open.
For written correspondence.
No, we're going to. Oh, keep it open.
We're adjourning.
We're adjourning. Thank you.
All right,
That was the word I was looking for. We're
Yeah, that
adjourning it.
Yeah, because they're not gonna have.
Yeah, no, we're not. Yeah. Okay.
Or next
Do we
meeting.
have to do any procedural thing for the adjourning, or that's?
Make a motion.
I make a motion.
Second.
Congress, seconds. We need to vote.
No, all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay. So this application is adjourned. And if anyone have any other business?
Do not.
Okay, then can I get a motion to close the meeting?
So moved.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Meeting closed at
8:29.
8:29. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.